Hey everyone, I'm Bridgie from Bougie Texas Barbecue, and on today's episode we're going to make some mojo style shrimp inside a pineapple bowl, and we're making pineapple salsa, so you definitely don't want to miss this episode. Big shout out to Lechonera for providing me with the essentials for today's cook. Speaking of today's cook, let's get into it. So the first thing you're going to want to do is split open a pineapple. Be very careful, especially if you're going to use the pineapple for presentation. Don't cut too rough into the stem because I'm telling you guys, it's going to fall apart. Now that your pineapple is split, it's time to pit it. You can pit it pretty much any way you want, but the easiest way that I did it so I can remove the core, the part of the pineapple that's not edible, is to basically cube it up into layers. That way I can grab a spoon and basically scoop out the part that is edible and keep it separate from the part that's not edible. And that pretty much covers how I pit my pineapples. So I'm going to throw the chunks that I'm keeping and using today into the bowl along with the pineapple juice and the kind of the crushed up pineapple that I scoop out. And I'm throwing the inedible part of the pineapple straight into the trash. Okay, off to the next step. I'm using Lechonera's Mojo dry rub to season the shrimp. I didn't add any other seasonings because one, the Mojo dry rub has all the flavor that I want to impact onto the shrimp, and I also don't want to overpower the shrimp. Give it a good mix, and now it's time to skewer our shrimp. I do want to note that I did have these skewers soaking for a few hours before applying this step. If you don't want your skewers to catch on fire, pre-soak your skewers. Now, how you skewer your shrimp is ultimately up to you, but I decided to add some pineapple and some jalapeños as well. If you are not into spicy food, you can definitely skip the jalapeno part, but I wanted to pair it with ingredients that is gonna enhance that mojo flavor. If you've never tried anything mojo style, you're definitely missing out. What is mojo? Mojo is a vinegary, citrusy flavor profile. So the sweetness from the pineapple is going to pair very well with a vinegar dry rub that we use. And the jalapeno is just going to add a little kick to our flavor profile. But again, if you're not into spice, you can absolutely skip it. I did preheat my grill to about 300 degrees with some lump charcoal and some apple wood chips. This way that smoke will still penetrate the shrimp but not overpower the shrimp. If you don't like apple wood, you can also use cherry wood, pecan wood, peach wood, maple wood, pretty much any light fruity wood that is not going to overpower that shrimp, because that is our goal. We want the smoke to balance out with that mojo flavor. So now we're going to close the lid and grill these for about 3 to 5 minutes, flipping halfway through the cook. Keep in mind your cooking time may vary depending on the size of your shrimp. And I actually want to do one more thing before I pull these shrimp off the grill. I really want to enhance the mojo flavor, so I'm going to actually heat up some of Lechonera's original mojo wet marinade, and I'm basically going to glaze the shrimp with them. Now the reason I'm choosing to do this is because once that mojo marinade hits the flames that are down below, the smoke flavor that comes up is going to enhance the shrimp and give it a totally different flavor profile. If you ever heard the expression, I can taste the fire, this is exactly what you do to get that fire taste onto your meat that tastes good. Okay, our shrimp is officially off the grill, and before serving, I'm going to prepare some fresh salsa. First, I'm going to cut up some limes for the salsa and for later on. Next, I'm going to cut up some red onions. If you ever wonder how the restaurants get that pretty diced onions, this is how to achieve it. You're going to find the lines within the onion and slice into them. Basically use that line as a guide. You're going to do it just like this all the way around the onion. And then you're going to thinly slice against the grain. Now that our onions are done, it's time for the jalapeños, which I really wish I had a trick for y'all besides slicing and dicing. But what I can tell you is to make sure you pit them, especially if you're sensitive to spice. Last but not least, you're going to want to chop up some fresh cilantro. Make sure it is nice and dry before you begin chopping. This will make your life so much easier, I promise. Now it's time to combine the ingredients: salt, pineapple juice, fresh chunks of pineapple that we diced up earlier, onions, jalapenos, cilantro, fresh lime juice, and then we're going to give it a good mix. And bam! pineapple salsa. And now it's time for the best part. It's time to build our pineapple bowls. I highly recommend pairing the shrimp with some sticky white rice. Each pineapple should hold about 2 skewers. Once you're done adding your skewers, garnish with that fresh salsa we just built. This step is optional, but I also garnish with cilantro and some lime. Another garnish that's optional, I highly recommend you add some freshly sliced avocado. Don't forget to check out the full recipe in the description. Till next time guys, enjoy.